All right, getting ready to start this video. We're getting ready to do some steaks later on today, and I was going to tell you we got some good size steaks. I usually don't get them this thick cut, but they had a good sale on them, and I figured I'd try them. I usually get them about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches in thickness. These are almost close to 2 inches in thickness, I guess. Anyhow, they usually weigh about a pound a piece. These are right at 2 pounds each. 5 of them weighs about 10 pounds, which it will make enough in one meal to do us for 2 different meals. We could save half of the steaks, I guess, and eat on them tomorrow, whenever, because it's just really too big of a steak for one person to eat, at least for me or anybody in my family. Anyhow, they had a sale going on. Anyhow, I'm going to show you how to do these steaks. And I use salt. Sometimes I use sea salt when I've got it handy. I don't have it handy here today. Got salt and pepper and steakhouse seasoning. I usually use Grill Mates steakhouse seasoning, and Sam's carries this, and I buy it in a big container like this for about $10. 29 ounces is what it is, and I transfer it over into a smaller whenever I run low on this Blackstone was what I had in it when I first bought this type. I had some of this, but I've got this filled with this Montreal steak season out of the bigger container because it's easier to handle. I put it in this than to use. Well, anyhow, let's get on with it. What I was going to say also is any type of steak that you fix is always better if you don't freeze it. If you buy it fresh, put it in a refrigerator for a few days if you need to, but freezing it loses the texture. It makes it a little bit tougher, loses some flavor. I just don't like a frozen steak. If I'll eat it if I have to freeze it like that, and later I'll eat it. But it does not help the taste. It hinders the taste and the texture of the meat. If you like tender steaks, always use steaks that's been in a refrigerator. All right, we're gonna I usually load it down pretty good with pepper and salt and seasoning. You're not gonna over season steaks this thick. Even if they're not hardly as thick, you're not gonna over season it. So I season both sides. I first put the pepper on it, and then I put the salt on it. Then I put my steakhouse seasoning, Montreal Steakhouse. Okay, let's see. And I like pepper. Everybody in the family, so you lose a lot of that when you're cooking it anyhow. Excuse me, about to sneeze. Goodness. Well, anyhow, here we go. I'm putting it to it. This will probably be a multiple video recording session because you can't hardly do this all in one recording because it would take over 30 minutes to get everything at the same time. I usually try to keep it down to 10 minutes or less on each video instead of going on and on one video and taking forever to upload it onto the channel, because that's what it does. Sometimes you have problems with it if it's very big anyway of uploading it, and it won't work as far as uploaded. That was the pepper. Let's put the salt on it. Now this is the first side. All right. There people, my family's talking in the background, so my wife's doing some canning today and stuff. She's in the kitchen next door there. All right, that's one side. Let's do the steak seasoning. And if you watch, I put it to it too. I'll cover it good because the steak is thick. You're not going to over season it. And I usually let a steak sit till it gets almost room temperature before I put it on the grill. In this case, these steaks have been sitting out of the refrigerator for almost 2 hours, coming up almost to room temperature. It's still going to take about another 30 or 45 minutes. And I'm just showing you the seasoning prospects of seasoning steaks of this size of what I do to make it good. And everybody brags on my steaks. Okay, that's got one side. Now let me pat it with my hand, get it kind of to where it won't fall off when I turn them over much. Anyway, some people oil their steaks with olive oil or something, or rub butter on them. But if I've got enough time to where it'll sit, I've got time to let them sit for a while before I put them on the grill. I don't do that because they got each steak's got its own oil in it, and got so much oil and moisture in it, this will soak right into the steak and hang right onto it if you leave it on it long enough. If you're in a rush, my advice is take some olive oil and rub on both sides of your steak before you put your, you don't have to put much, just barely coat it. And time you get it coated on both sides, let it sit for a while. This seasoning, the last things you put on there will soak into it pretty good. And you might think that's a lot of salt and pepper and a lot of seasoning, but it really ain't. If you look at the thickness of this steak, see, that steak's almost 2 inches thick. All right. Big steaks, I'm gonna turn them all over before I start working on this side of it. This steak here is one on this end. It's cut a little bit thicker bone than the other ones was. I don't know if that was an end cut off the thing. I told the man cut all of them about the same thickness, but it looks like he didn't that one. It might have been the end piece of where he was cutting. All righty, let's start back with the pepper again on this side. And I pour it to it, both sides. Now a lot of the fat, some people trims fat off of their steaks. Sometimes it depends on what if I've got a whole lot of fat on it, I do. But I don't take a whole lot of all of the fat off. I leave at least what's on these right here looks like on them. These don't have a whole lot of fat on them. They got some, but that helps flavor the meat, and you don't have to eat the fat anyhow. You can cut that off as you're cutting your slices of your meat to eat, you know, your pieces. And that's the way I do, because it gives more flavor to the steak. If you trim much of the fat off of it, you lose your flavor in your steak when you're cooking it for some reason. And it don't cook as good. It don't flare up in the far, and it don't give that singe on the outside because the fat's not melting and falling down into the far. I've got a gas grill, and I usually try to keep it set on about anywhere from 275 to 300. And I've heard people they'll talk about putting their steaks on 500 and throw them on there and singeing the outside and leaving the inside completely bloody. Now you can eat your steak however you want to. That's your business. But I don't want one that's bloody. I mean, I like to have it pink on the inside, but not so bloody that I can't stomach to eat it. And I don't want to take a chance on getting some kind of food-borne illness neither. And when it wiggles when you punch it with your finger, it's a little bit too rare to suit me. I mean, you can tell. I usually cut into a steak about 2/3 of the way finished to see how far it is along. These steaks here will take better than 30 minutes to cook the way I cook them. And I usually put them on the first side for 5 minutes, You have to get the grill to 300, put on each side for 5 minutes each, and do it at least twice on both sides. So you got 10 minutes cooking time on 300 or right around 300 degrees on each side. And then after that, I'll usually go to 2.5 minutes on each side. And a steak, it's not hardly this big. It say weighs a pound each. It will take 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes to finish it off from the time you start. These steaks here will take probably 35 minutes to do and do right. It'll still be pink on the inside, singed a little bit on the outside, and there won't be blood running out of them. They'll be what I would call medium rare, and some people call it medium rare when they're bleeding yet, and when you cut into them, blood runs everywhere. I don't call that medium rare. I call that rare. My nephew, bless his heart, he's 8 years younger than me. I took him to a steakhouse one time, and when he worked for me, and I ordered my steak, and when he ordered his, they asked him how he wanted it. He was about 2 or 3 shots in the wind at the time. He said, "I just want mine raked across the grill." I said, "Oh God, I don't have to sit across me and watch this." And that's what they done. They bring it. It was still wiggling just about when they bring it. And I sat there with him and tried to eat. I had to keep my mind off of him and try not to look at him because he was about to gag me out. I mean, when blood runs out of one, it's too rare to suit me. I don't care what it is. There's some people will eat meat and it raw like that. Not me. I don't want a food-borne illness, and I don't want to just be sick if I don't get an illness. I don't want to take that kind of a chance. I mean, it just turns me off. Well, anyhow, I got 5 2-pound steaks, 10 pounds altogether, seasoned on both sides. I'm gonna let them sit for about another 45 minutes, probably before I put them on the grill. They're almost room temperature. Another 30 minutes would bring them room temperature. I'm gonna get my grill ready and start another video. Goodbye.